Isso aqui, oh, é pouquinho de Brasil, iaia.
Automatically, so I think it's going to be okay. But the thing with that Romany is that it is very soft, and I got it from. Let me just see where I got my Romany from. I got it from the Stoddard family farm from Sylvia. So that was pretty good. Teas water. I see most of the people that I see, I bought a little bit of teas water. I haven't spun it yet. And what I want to do is I want to blend it with something else. Because the teas water has a lot of luster. What are you guys laughing? Huh? So,
is this a 3-ply?
it's a 4-ply. Yeah, I wanted to try more plies. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking, considering using a 5-ply for my, for the BFL and silk that I want, because it's very thin, I'm spinning very thin. So maybe
it must it be, like when you're saying you have to go to 12 work to spin thin, and that's 4-ply and that's thin, what do you consider thin?
Yeah. If you look at the yarn that was this is a 3-ply. So I think this is thin. That's a 3-ply.
Very round.
The 3-ply?
Well, the 4-ply.
The 4-ply, yeah. So that's, I think my other one is going to be more or less like that too. It takes a while to spin. And to ply.
Was this one Romney?
This is Romney, but this is a very soft Romney, like unusual.
Will it pill?
It might. I don't think so. I don't think it will that much. The fibers. I don't know where the other Romney fiber is, but no, this is the BFL.
Oh no, there's one that was wrong
But-
right there.
Oh, yeah. So if you see the fiber is more or less. It's more or less the same size if you get the staple. So I wouldn't think that it would peel easily. And I think that I carded it, but I applied it, I spun it worsted. So when you spin it worsted, it's less peeling. It might, but I don't hope not too much at least. Okay. Then you have Texel and Wensleydale from the UK. Provides, sorry, how do you say that? Wensleydale. So provide rams to cross with other breeds. So the basic, this is the interesting thing. I had got a video about fleeces and stuff, and I didn't notice until now, and that's the great thing about this. Thank you, everybody. Is that I'm now paying attention to things and how the English breed have affected everything, all the breeds. Because I thought that merino was the big thing that influenced all the breeds that we have today, but that's not true. That's a lot of the English breeds. So then after that, we have the down type breeds. So true down breeds originated in southeastern England. Other sheep that share the same fleece characteristics. This is this book. Like if you look at this book, and I'm gonna have at the end, it says the breeds that they considered, she just says the true down breeds. She separates them, and I'm gonna show it easy, quick. So it's bred for use of sires as crossbred fat lambs. So sire is the male that they use the sperm to create the sheep. So normally they are compact and medium-sized, crisp feel and spongy handle. It's pretty amazing. I had a down fleece once, and it was pretty soft. So you can have stuff. I couldn't bring a better example here, but I have to buy another fleece. Darn, sorry, honey. So fiber diameter range from fine to medium, 2 and 3.5 inches normally, and it has a well-developed spiral cream, resilience, loft, bulk, and elasticity. So they have a different way with their cream, and I don't think I have any example here of their cream. But because the way they are not easily compressed. And because they're not easily compressed, they go back to what they are very fast. Yeah, I do. Suffolk, or Suffolk, whatever. How do you say that? Suffolk. Okay. So this is more or less their cream. So if you see, the cream is really good. So some of these they can be very soft. And if you want to make a pullover, you should spin it woolen, and then it's going to give you a lot of loft. So it's going to be very nice and warm. And not necessarily harsh on you, because some are pretty good. So normally they don't have luster. They may produce camp fibers. You know what camp is? No, camp is, it's like a hair, but it's brittle. It breaks a lot, so if you see a fleece that has some things, if you can see, and if you touch it, it's very, it's like hard, and it breaks very easy.
Brutal. It's coarse.
That's the word.
Really coarse.
Very coarse, and they're going to come out from the fleece, and it's very hard to take it out of the fleece. So if you see a fleece that is like that, I wouldn't touch it. It's not worth my time.
But a lot of the time in the camp though, you just have to have legs, so as long as you're prepared to skirt heavily.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I had one, and her fleece was absolutely gorgeous, but she had camp on the back legs.
But you could take it out.
Yeah.
So what we need is a skirting lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do, because I don't know how to do that.
So part of the wall.
Yeah, it's a very important thing, and I tried, but I'm not good at that. I'm not even good at opening the fleece in a way. This Romany was the first fleece that I was able to open it, and it was a huge fleece. It took a huge area in my living room. It was beautiful. I have pictures. So they have good shape, retention, and insulation because they come back, so they keep the air in, so it's gonna be warm. Crease resistant, another word I learned. Crease is because it doesn't get, what do you call it?
Wrinkles.
Wrinkle, yeah. It's commercially used to make tweeds, blankets, and hosiery. Hand spinners can use it for sweaters, socks, throws, blankets, and garments made of down type fleece or blended with other wools. And it's funny because in 2 books that I was going through, they say it's great for socks. I love socks. So you gotta buy some more fleece. Does not felt easily, moderate grease content, hot water and detergent, so it's not that hard to wash. And the preferable preparation method would be carbon, exactly because of this. But then again, nowadays, apparently nowadays, I was reading, you can find some tops done too. And when you have the tops, it makes it feel a little bit softer, right? But the tops, again, in that video that I was watching about spinning thing, what she says is, if you want to spin a truly worsted, you're gonna come from a commercial top. But the moment you wash your top, that's not a true top anymore, worsted anymore, because when you wash, the fibers will move a little bit, or when you dye, right? So if you want to spin completely worsted, you have to do it with top and dye it later if you want. So, Black Welsh Mountain, I think I have to see which one I want, but I'm going with the Cheviot. I thought Cheviot was not soft, and my plan is to use this and this together, and I have a black Jacob that I want to use together to knit something. So I'm trying to knit more or less the same. It's also a 3-ply, and it's not bad. Like, even if you put on your skin, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Not for me. So I'm giving it a second thought, because I didn't know Cheviot was that nice. So, Dorset down. So, these are still the downtime fleece. So an example of that, and that is a top. So Dorset down and Dorset horn and pull Dorset. So apparently Dorset horn is the Dorset that has the horn, and the pull Dorset is the one without. But they are very similar between the two of them, and they are very different from the Dorset down, the fleece.
Is that supposed to be poll, P-O-L-L?
Maybe. I can see
Yeah.
here.
Isn't it
Yeah,
something?
yeah, it's down below, it's got it as PO.
That one is the one that makes.
Yeah, it's further down in that pole.
Let's see.
Yes, the second line there.
Probably put it.
Dorset down. Yes, P-O-L-L. Sorry for that. So that's some things that I still feel like trying, but the Cheviot really for me was the winner. Then you have Norfolk horn, Oxford down, Shetland. Shetland is a very interesting fleece or sheep, to say the least. Because I learned initially that all the Shetlands were a double coated sheep. So I have different Shetland here. So it's good to be together to try. And then last June, I went to a place and I bought some Shetland fleece. And she said, I didn't bring it because I blended with alpaca. And I made the yarn. But she said, no, my Shetland doesn't have double coated. So you do have a Shetland that has double coat and another that doesn't have double coat, but they are all Shetlands, maybe because they originated, introduced by early Scandinavian settlers in Shetland Island. But there are two different lines of Shetland. So I thought that was very interesting. I had initially a bad experience with Shetland because they have those grease spots in it. And when you get one Shetland with that greasy spot, it's very hard to take it off. I don't know what you call it, but it's very hard to take it off. The other thing is that some Shetland can be very soft and some Shetland can be very rough. And so I think for me it's a breed that is interesting for me to study more to see the difference. Because I think it was kind of nice, right? So again, I won't mind going to Shetland and get different fleeces. And so are we going this year? So if I don't go, please. And the Suffolk, that is what I passed for you guys. But if you see, you have difference. I see 26 microns, 28. So you can have down. Another one that I thought was interesting was the Tunis. It's a breed in the USA. They apparently they developed it, I think. So I think that is interesting to learn a little bit more. I just need to diminish my stash somehow. And Southdown, England, Australia, and France. Then she classified it other wools, double-coated sheep. So the Shetland is a kind of that is a double-coated fleece, and also the Icelandic. So I have Icelandic top and Icelandic thing there. I do not have, but can I see just some of that Shetland? I think I might have just one that is, no I don't, sorry. Let me see my book if I have. Because it's very easy to separate, very easy. Oh, I do have some coat swatch here. So I can also pass this book around. This was supposed to be my book read for the course. Of course, I showed it and then I never put stuff back in. But it has at least some pictures of sheep and what they are. I do have to go back to it. But the double coat sheep in general, it's very easy to separate. And the bottom part is soft, the inner coat is soft, and the outer coat is hairy, right? They have slight wave or no crimp at all. Colors in some breeds might contain pink and colored fibers, usually processed together. Most contain little grease, undercoat felts. And I was watching something today and they were explaining like, I think it's caracal. Caracal for me looks like straw. That's what it feels, and I have some there. You can touch it. For me it's straw. But because caracal has the bottom part, it's what they use to make the yurts in the north. Because the undercoat is going to felt and keep the fiber together. Right? And then she gives another, and Navajo shuru, that is what they normally use in the US to make the rugs and stuff, the south of the US. For me also is very, very, very porous. But you have some examples there. The other one is Iceland. And I think I passed the Icelandic. So the Icelandic is also double things. You can buy, if you have the fleece, I normally try to separate them, but when you buy the woven, it comes normally everything together. So, but Icelandic is in, and Icelandic, my teacher, Beth Abbott, wrote a book about it. And it took me I bought the book when I was having the class, and she was very nice. She said, you don't have to buy it just for me. And I said, no, I want to have it. And I'm so happy I bought it. Because I was reading, and she talks about all the aspects of the breed. I hope there were more books like this from other breeds. Because she tells you about history, economical facts about Iceland, but also, she also talks to you through on how to spin the fibers. So it is a very nice book. And I don't know if you know, Gemini Fibers is closing down. And I looked there when I went to the books, the first thing I saw was this book, so that was kind of nice. But it's a good book because it talks about the breed, right? And then hair sheep, you have some sheep that they have hair, they don't have wool. They're raised for meat, no commercial value for the fiber. And they shed each year. And they normally thrive in high temperature. So I'm almost there, guys. Primitive and Pharaoh sheep is another class, and that's for the Borare, Hybridean. I've been listening a lot about Hybridean in the fruit and meaty part. And so I'm interested in seeing how it is, because, and St. Kilda, men's load. I got some. I honestly didn't like to spin it. I got some top, and it didn't work for me. I didn't like it very much. Ronaldsea apparently is one that has been for more than 5 million years with us. It's the first one that has been brought as domestic one, and the other is the soy. And these are islands in the UK, right? Jacob. I don't think I have pictures of the Jacob, but today I was looking at it. The horns are bad,
Yeah.
but the babies are so cute.
They always are.
They're cute.
They grow up.
Yes, it's a Jacob. Look at the horns. But I should have taken a picture of a baby, a lamb, because they're much better. So I bought this top that is a Jacob top that I want to use with these two fleeces, right? The Cheviot and the other one that's
Underneath.
here. So that's what I want to use. I want to use the three of them together. Because I just have 1 pound of each. So, and I want to do something that is going to take more than 1 pound of each. So I'm going to update. The interesting thing about it, I read in one of the books or something taught to me, is that and I brought this thing because I bought one piece of this, and you can feel the difference normally in the two colors. It's the same sheep, but the fleece the color makes a difference in the softness of that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then the other that they put is the California red. And so as I mentioned to you, that was the classification as per in sheep's clothing. But in her book, she has a different classification. She puts it as Northern European short-tailed sheep, then long wool sheep, down-type sheep, medium wool sheep, fine wool sheep. And it's interesting that, let me see where she put so the Shetland sheep, she puts in the North European, while the other one put it in the down-type fleece. So I thought it is interesting. I think it's more or less boundaries for you, guidelines for you to see, right? But really, and this, she has a video too, and she has a course also in the thing. I got the video, and I got her book. So it's all about, like I like to take this one. This is this one, a mini of this one. But when we go out, I like to take this with me. If you see, it's a little bit more used. Oh, it's even not good. Because I put it in the bag when I go to shows or something, because it tells me about the fleeces and what to expect. And then again, when you look at this, she does not classify the sheep like that. She classifies it per area in the UK. So I thought this was kind of interesting too. And I think that's it, everybody. So, any questions?
Isso aqui, oh, é pouquinho de Brasil, ia, ia.